Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We just got February inflation numbers and they really weren't that good. Year over year, inflation rose by 6.0%. Month over month, inflation rose by 0.5%. Although this was within expectations of what economists were predicting, that doesn't mean that it was good for the economy. So what does this mean for I-bond rates, and where are they going in May of 2023? Well, let's get into it. First, we need to understand where inflation's at and where it's headed. We also have to understand what the Fed is planning to do, because we have to understand where they're taking interest rates. As I said before, February inflation numbers were at 6% year over year and 0.5% month over month. These were actually in line with the expectation for this month. This gives us a CPI-U change of about 1.36% over the last 5 months. If we look here, you can see the September amount, the February amount. We'll do a little formula, and you can see how I got that 1.36% change. If you want the source for that, it's in the description below. This is one of the key data points, so we might understand where I-bond rates are going to go here in May. But that's not all. We're only at about 5/6 of the picture. We need all 6 pieces in order to understand where they're actually going to go. And we'll get that information on April 12th, which is when I'll be making my final decision on if I'm buying I-bonds here in May of 2023. Additionally, there's more to it than just that. We need to understand what the Fed is doing, and that's because they're making some drastic changes now. As we've seen many banks collapse in recent weeks, this isn't something we can take lightly. We have to understand where the Fed is going, because that's going to dictate other interest rates and inflation in the future. If the Fed decides that they're not actually raising rates, they're cutting rates or staying neutral, then that could cause inflation to go higher, and that could actually make it a better choice to invest in I-bonds. So we need to be paying attention to that, and I'll be taking that into consideration when I make my final predictions and final decisions after April 12th. As you all know, I-bond rates are at a great 6.89% right now, and that's fantastic. But I think that's all going to change. In the next couple of months, we're going to see things move and change in a different direction, and I actually think the next rate for I-bonds is going to be around 2.5 to 3.5%. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, I can't tell you what's going to happen, but that's my initial prediction. Obviously, we need to be paying attention to what's happening with the Fed and where inflation numbers are. I don't think it's going to be as high as it was before, and now it seems inflation is kind of sticking around that 6% rate, which isn't really fantastic, but it kind of gives us a knowledge of where things are going. So make sure you're paying attention again to the Fed and to inflation rates so you can make a good prediction, and then we'll know final numbers here in the middle of April. Now, all of this information has been great and wonderful, but the real question is, when should you be buying I-bonds after the April information comes out? Well, I'll be doing a video a couple days after that April information comes out so we can make an educated guess and an educated investment as to where we want to put our money. This doesn't mean we're putting it in I-bonds. It means we could be putting it somewhere else, because I-bonds might not be the highest rate of return for our investment. In the meantime, if you have some money laying around that you plan to put in I-bonds but don't know what to do with it right now, go ahead and invest that in a high yield savings account. There are some great rates right around 4%. You can put that money away, you know it's safe, because most likely if it's for I-bonds, it's about $10,000 or less. That means it's going to be well under the $250,000 FDIC insurance amount, so you will not lose that money even if that bank that you choose to invest in goes bankrupt. And yes, I know there's a lot of different options out there. That's just where I'm putting my money right now until I see where these I-bond rates are going. I don't want to be making an investment in the I-bonds right now until we get the full picture here in the middle of April. Let me know in the comments below where you're putting your money and where you think you should be storing it until we find out where I-bond rates are actually going to be. Finally, this is an investment that you need to be patient on. You can't rush into it. That's because we need to see this last month of information before you can make that investment. If you're not patient and you can't wait, there's other investment choices for you. Go ahead and look at CDs. They have a great rate of return right now. Again, high yield savings accounts if you want that money to be easily pulled out of your investment. There's a ton of different options. I'd be skeptical of stocks right now as the market seems very volatile. But if you're looking as a long-term investor and this isn't money you need right now or need to be easily able to liquidate, then go ahead and invest in stocks as you see fit. Just make sure whatever you're choosing to do that you make an educated decision, because that's what I want on this channel. People to make educated decisions that are best for them and their families. If you're interested in learning how to get consistent cash flow month after month, check out this video right here. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one.